Hey everyone, it's Helen here with Health and Hope with Helen. So, the title of my message today is Sow Your Seeds. So, sowing your seeds in a biblical sense. You know, God tells us that we're supposed to go out and we're supposed to share our testimonies with others. That's the reason we go through the things that we go through, is so we can help other people, so we can testify of His goodness and tell people the ways that He's helped us and the ways that He's gotten us through it. And when you sow a seed for God, you're basically going and you're telling somebody, this is what God has done for me. This is what God can do for you. And so my mom and I, when we were walking yesterday on the river path, we both talked about how this week we both had encounters with somebody where we were able to do that. And so my mom has a friend who is coming to her end of life, and she's going to be starting hospice here soon. And my mom mentioned to her, and my mom said she just felt like a prompting on her heart. She just encouraged her, and they were talking, and her friend goes, I think it's coming to my end of life. And my mom sat with her and she said something that was so simple and so profound. And then she shared that with me. And I told her, I said, you realize you sowed a seed right there, Mom. Because what she had told her friend is, I know you're feeling this way, but God has the final say. And it was simple. It wasn't, somebody coming in and just rehearsing scripture over, her. So where it felt like, impersonal, but it was from the heart, and it was from my mom's personal experience that she had went through. So she was just like, I get what the doctors are saying. I see what the nurses are saying. And right now it looks really grim. And she said, and it may be your time, more or less is what she had said in so many words. But then she said, but don't forget that God has the final say, and my mom had learned that 5 years ago, because my mom suffers from COPD. And she was in the hospital, and she had been in and out of the hospital a couple times over the course of the last probably 10 years. And she had a nurse who came in there and told her, well, you're stage 4 and you need to start preparing yourself. You're kind of coming to your end of life. And my mom wouldn't accept that. She absolutely would not accept that. She was just like, what? She couldn't even believe what she was hearing with her own ears from this nurse who came in and was trying to speak death over her instead of speaking life over her. And so my mom started praying over the next day, the next day or 2 days. She started praying like, God, you have the final say. You decide when my time is up. No man can tell me when that is up. And only you know, God, and my time is in your hands. So she started professing that over herself in the hospital. And she was even praying to get me another nurse, please, God. And you know what ended up happening? Lo and behold, they ended up having to move her room. She didn't ask. She didn't make a stink. They said that they needed to move her so that they could bring somebody else into the room she was in. So within that short span, Mom had been praying. Mom had this nurse that was speaking a death sentence over her. And then she ultimately ended up getting into another room with a different nurse who was fantastic with her. She just absolutely ended up loving her. Mom got out. Mom is healthy and whole right now, you guys. Yes, does she have COPD? She does, but very rarely does she need oxygen anymore. She takes some daily medications. She walks around, she exercises, she's healthy, she cleans homes. And so 5 years ago, had my mom actually started believing like this is the end and listened to what man had to say over what she was believing in her heart and professing the word. Now here, I don't want to sit here and give people false hope. We all have a time. We already know that we're going to leave this earth. And when God's timing is perfect, and only He does know that. But my goodness, until the very, very end, you just have to believe. You have to have that faith. You have to call out to Him. And you have to, like my mom in her heart, she knew this isn't my time. What are you talking about? And so she felt it. And so she started professing it. She started praying. And then lo and behold, like I said, God moved her room. So guys, God has the final say. And I felt like my mom telling her friend that the other day, I get it, and I see how it looks, and maybe it could be. God is so good, though, and His timing is perfect. However, He has the final say. Not man, not a doctor, not a nurse. They do their best, but God. So it was just bringing that focus back to her, hey, hold on here. So I really liked that. And I said, Mom, way to sow a seed, because you sowed that seed using your testimony. Now God can come in and water that, with some, listening to her faith and hearing her prayers. And then of course, Jesus will come in and He will shine His sun all over it. It's just He'll come and make things come alive that we could never again. So I just thought that was awesome. And then my testimony is a little tiny bit different, because I have a friend who's been going through just some life stuff for a while, just off and on through family members and life things. And I was in the grocery store walking around, and I finally just told her, you're going to need to surrender this. This is a friend. She knows the Lord, but maybe not walking with him right yet. I mean, she's curious. She's hungry for him, but she's still just kind of just making her way in. God's just slowly calling her to him. And I just said, this is an area where you're going to finally have to surrender some of this to the Lord. You're going to have to lay it at his feet. You're going to have to let it go. You've been wasting so much time, so much energy. This is out of your control. This is nothing you can even change. We can't change people. You cannot change somebody. I know you're going to try, and it's going to be a painful, exhausting thing, but you're never going to be able to change somebody else. That is God's business. That is their business. That is not you. There's nothing you can do. The only thing you can work on is yourself. And so I was telling her this, like, hey, you're really going to have to surrender this to the Lord, and you're going to have to really, really, really just, start praying. I said, start praying over her, just like, hey, God, you love her more than I ever could. You'll take better care of her than I ever could. I'll always be here. I'll always be helpful. I'll be there, whenever she needs anything. But I have to release her and the situation to you right now so that I can find my peace and so that I can get healthy. And so I started explaining that to her, and she was just like, wow, that really helped. And, I was telling her that from my own experience, because I've tried to grasp and hold on and to things that were not my place to hold on to. And God has shown me, like, I'm God, you're not. You have to let go, because this is going to be a painful process if you keep striving and grasping and grabbing. And so I was kind of just sharing my own personal testimony with her. But then I also shared something with her too, which I felt like it was profound, and it really didn't have anything to do with the situation. But I feel like sometimes people don't know where to start with God. Like, they feel like it has to be this big drawn out thing. Like, wait a second, where do I even start? I mean, how do I even call out to him? How does this relationship even begin? You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through. I've been through too much. It's just like, no, that works for them, but that could never work for me. And I told her that day in the store, I said, it would have been in 2014. I was really, really sick, and death was literally knocking at my door. And prior to that, just a few months prior to that, I had a major surgery, and I was I was just super sick. I had gotten baptized though. And so I was new with my walk with the Lord, and it was all fresh. It was all new. However, I did have faith. And so I had a pastor. He came by my house because he wanted to visit me because I was super sick, and I couldn't even barely get up to go to the door, to answer the door. Like, it took everything I had to just walk to the door, get to the door, and go back and sit down. And he came in, he sat down, and the advice he gave me was so profound. He told me, Helen, is there anybody you know that's sicker than you right now? I want you to pray for them. And I was just like, oh, wait a second. I'm the one who's sick. I'm the one who's dying. So I'm like, well, yeah, I know a really close friend who has cancer. And so we sat and we prayed for that close friend who had cancer right then and there. It took it off of me. And then he took out this little bottle of oil, which I didn't know really, what he was doing. Because like I said, I was new in my walk. I'm like, wow, what's he doing? He grabbed this little bottle of oil, and then he anointed me on my forehead. And he did that. And I was just like, wow, oh my goodness, what are we doing here? And it's like, now that I'm a little more versed in the Bible and stuff, I'd be like, wash me in oil, please. But then I was just like, oh, so it seemed really profound. And he was serious, because this is a pastor who's normally pretty jovial, but he was very serious with me. And then he said, I'm going to leave, Helen. He goes, but I need you to go into your bedroom when I leave, and I need you to get on your hands and knees, get with the Lord, and I want you to confess all known sins to him. Anything that you can remember in your life that you've ever done, just get with him and go into the bedroom and tell him, Lord, I need you. I need you. I don't know how to start with you. I'm a sinner, but I can't make it without you. That's what he wanted me to do. Just go into the bedroom, call out to the Lord, tell him, hi, I recognize you. I need you. You're bigger than me. I won't make it without you, and confess your known sins, and then thank him. And so what I did was I did exactly what he said, with what little strength I had. I went into that bedroom, and I started from the beginning on anything that could come to my mind, like, Lord, I did this, Lord, I did that, Lord, I did this, please forgive me for this. And so I just went in there, I talked to him, I asked for forgiveness, and I thanked him. And I'm not even joking, from that time forward, the oncoming days after that, little by little by little, my body started to heal and heal and heal. It took years. I'm not going to say it happened overnight, because it didn't, but I could feel the closeness of the Lord. I could feel him healing me. I noticed every little tiny mile mark. I was just like, oh, yes, yes, yes. I can drink a whole Boost today instead of just a sip of a Boost.
So it was all these little tiny things, that he was doing, that he was sustaining me with and drawing me closer to him with. And so, for me, I just told her, that was a start for me with him. I said, I recognized my need for him. I surrendered myself to him. I went in and confessed to him, like, I'm a sinner and I don't know where to start. And I love you, it's just like, and then it just little by little, we developed this beautiful relationship. So I don't know where you're at with your walk, but again, I feel like that sowed a seed with her, because she called me a few days later and she said, hey, I took your advice. And she said, I've been walking in the evening. So she said, I've been walking. And she said, and while I'm walking, I've been talking to God. And she said, and I confessed my sins to him on one of my walks. And I just wanted to say thank you. And so, right there, I felt like, wow, all I had to do was just say, hey, this was my testimony. This is something that somebody shared with me. This is something that I did. And this is something that worked. And then God comes in and does what he does. He's the one who comes in and he waters it, and like I said, shines the sun on it and makes it grow and brings birth out of new things. And so it was amazing. And all I had to do was just share my testimony. So anyways, guys, I hope that encouraged somebody, helped somebody. But I definitely think that we all have some seeds that we could sow in other people's lives. Just don't be afraid to do it. Just share, like, hey, this is what worked for me. So God bless. Have a great Sunday. Bye.